All right. Hey, Tellor community. Welcome. First community call of 2021. Uh,
Ooh.
January, yeah, January 5th. Really exciting week. Lots of stuff going on in crypto and in Teller land as well. It's nice to get back after the holidays. Actually get back to working and not taking time off. But big news, ETH just went bonkers over the past week. The price, which is uh, which I'm sure we'll talk about. It provides both exciting times and interesting challenges. So, on to kind of just some quick dev updates, which we can talk about. The first thing, so V 2.6. So we're just making a small adjustment to how we calculate the difficulty for the miners. We pushed it to Rink V this morning, so it's currently live. Appears to be working. Let us know. We're going to continue to monitor it over the next week, make sure it does actually work, and then we'll kick off a vote in a week. So in 1 week, we will stop testing on Rinkby, and we're going to deploy it live on mainnet. But you'll have to go vote. So we need a 10% quorum to pass this vote, and we're going to need all you guys pull your bags and make sure that you vote. So if you're on a centralized exchange, make sure you pull them off for many, many, many reasons, namely to vote. So that'll start in a week, but for the meantime, just let us know.
Keep an eye out for a tweet later today where we'll link you guys the actual proposal itself. You can read it and familiarize yourself with it, and then some steps or some links that you guys know that'll help you know how to vote when the time comes next week. So
Yep.
keep an eye out for that.
Cool. Other things, we'll be releasing a new version of the miner later this week. We released one last week, and we're going to be releasing a new one. We have a new data point in there, and a lot of new fun stuff for you miners. I know it seems like it's been like a quiet time as far as development goes, but just it's one of those things, like it's not really new products that are right now being pushed out, but there's a lot of like back end cleanup, and like everything actually is sound and structured and makes sense. So it's going to allow us to sort of move faster in the future. If the mining program and all of our backend software and monitoring tools are good to go, then we're just gonna have a better system. I know it's not quite as sexy as a new product launch or an integration or something like that, but it's work that needs to get done, and now is a better time than ever to get it done. As we're enjoying the price increases in the main tokens. Um, okay, so other things, Mike, anything on the hackathon or BD side? I know we got ETH Denver coming up.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what I mentioned about ETH Denver last week, or if there's anything new, or if I even talked about it.
Talked a little bit about the virtual.
Yes. Okay. So nothing new to share there. I mean, we're still being onboarded.
But
We're
make sure you guys go and apply.
yes,
Be
attend. Not
hackers and
virtual, so
yeah, we want to. They're a great team and project, so we want to make sure that we're supporting them and hacking as well. So who knows? We might. I'm debating whether or not I want to hack and try and win a prize. No, I know. Well, I judged at the ETH Online, and then Chainlink had a couple of their developers who were hacking, trying to win prizes, which was, you know, and they were awful, awful submissions. So we can totally do something cooler. So maybe JG and I
but
knock out a couple.
the more we have you guys join into this, so it's going to be like a little virtual video game where you'll be able to walk to our virtual booth. So the more we can have, people are attracted to crowds. So the more we can have your little avatars walking around our booth, and
We're gonna tell them you have to make female avatars and come put them near
yes,
the teller booth.
scantily clad.
Try and get everyone to come to our
They call
stand.
catfishing.
Yes.
Um, anyway, but yes, the more the merrier. And I'll give you more updates when they are about ETH Denver. But in the meantime, like Nick said, just go. Ilari said, "Hillary at your service." You have the perfect alter ego for this. Yeah, the more people that register for ETH Denver, the better. Especially if you guys are part of our community. Uh, uh, we're sorry about that. I know you guys that are in the Discord might have seen some spam over the last week or so. I think we've gotten it under control, or we're well on our way to working on getting that handled. Alari, I don't know if you can speak to it if you have a microphone right now, but we think we have that handled, and hopefully there's no more spam. Don't click any of those links. All those airdrops are just scams. And I think all you guys are fully aware of that. At this point, it's more of just an eyesore than it is a real, we're not really worried you guys are going to get scammed. But anyway, our apologies for that. There's not much we could do, but I think we have a bot now that's handling it all. So that's life in crypto on the on Discord and Telegram. So we've all been there, and I don't think it's going to go away. I think then the big news today, though, if we can transition into this, is that we have a new member of the Tellor team that we've been telling you guys about for a couple weeks now. Ben is here on the call here. There he is. So we've actually been working with Ben on and off for most of this year, starting in April, I think, right, Ben? We met in April. I put out something on Twitter, and you responded to the Twitter ad, I guess, for a graphic designer or a front end person. And this was actually around the time we were looking to build the dispute center and the price viewer, and that's what you were sort of talking with me about. And we ended up just working together more on some smaller graphics, and that eventually turned into you helping us out with the V2 of our website refresh. And anyway, that's so we've been working with Ben for a while, and when it came time to we knew looking into 2021 that we were going to need a lot more of this type of work. He was a perfect candidate, and so here we are. So Ben, say hello. If you'd like, just give a little brief introduction to who you are and what you're about.
Yeah. So hello, Tellor community. It's good to be here. And yeah, as Mike said, I was kind of already working with you guys indirectly through Mike on some stuff, as Mike said, on the V2 and on some other graphic stuff. So yeah. So my name is Ben. I live in Antwerp in Belgium. I have a background in graphic design, transferred to digital design along the way, and took up some coding as well, some front-end coding. So I do kind of like a crossover between UI design and the actual coding of it as well. Of course, with my background in graphic design, I do branding as well, and some illustration if it needs to be. So I guess all of those skills will be applied to Tellor and all the products that will be created along the way. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah, what else can I say? I've been in crypto since 2016, I guess it was, when I quit my job at the municipality of Antwerp to join a crypto project which was called Swarm City, which we were like trying to build a peer-to-peer market strictly on Ethereum. For 2.5 years we tried doing that until the funds kind of run out and we didn't end up having a working product. But yeah, a lot of lessons learned along the way, and of course I was hooked on the whole ecosystem and the vibe blockchain has. So I decided to do freelance work in it, and that's basically a couple of months after that I met Mike, and the rest is history, or Mike just told you guys. So I guess that's kind of it in a nutshell.
Cool. So yeah, like Ben's going to be working on a few things that we aren't fully ready to share about, but it won't be too long. We don't think. So it's kind of tough because we want to. I'm sure he wants to share more about what he's been tinkering with, but we're not quite ready yet for that. I think, but things that we can talk about is we once he's done that stuff, he'll be moving on to refreshing our current front end stuff. I think as much as we liked our price viewer and dispute center as they are now, that was kind of like a very much a V1 of what we sort of envision is possible with that. And we also just think that Ben has a really great style, and he can always improve how things look in terms of presentation wise. So we're excited about those things going forward. So yeah, you guys have any questions for Ben from the team?
Yeah, I would. So what are your big bags you're holding? We have to just full transparency, and then
You can plead the fifth.
maybe in a sort of a similar related question, what are some brands you really like in crypto? You know, anybody that really sticks out, or even say not in crypto. If you're like a front end designer, like who does it right?
I think like, so let's plead the fifth for the first one. And although I'm not in the States, I'm still just gonna plead the fifth. And no, I guess of course I'm in ETH.
Say all TRB, man. Just
yeah. No, I think I'm an ETH maximalist. If that counts for anything, I'm Ethereum all the way. And yeah, in terms of branding, I guess it is like, let me put it like this. I think it's time that like we start creating some good brands. Not that there aren't any out there, but it's like you can still feel that branding wise, a whole blockchain like universe is still like in its in its startup phase. I'd say like there's not like actually a lot of like strong brands out there. There's a lot of strong products, but they still have a very techy feel and not a very like user oriented feel. And that's what I'm all about. So if you would ask me like who does it right, I guess like the more Web 2.0 kind of like your Ubers and your I don't know what, they all give like a cool user experience, and I guess that's kind of what we want to strive towards. Of course, if you want to pull out the big names, like if strictly in terms of styling, I guess Apple would be like the biggest like go-to thing. Like I'm a big Dieter Rams fan who does brown and who has like the minimalistic thing going, or well he put that into the world, I guess. And yeah, I'm all about that. As I said, like I think blockchain is now still in a very um, still breeds a very tech vibe, and I guess we can start moving past that and stop calling things block this and this and chain so and so and give it actual like branding and actual names and styling and so forth. So that's kind of my vision on the whole thing, I guess.
chain so and so has a nice ring to it, though.
Yeah, you should write that down. Maybe that's
Yeah, so and so.
Well, I think it's tough, you know, like I think blockchain has always been in my mind, it's there's this solution that's in search of a problem, or you know, like a direct correlation. Because you know, like with Uber, for instance, like you know who when you get on Uber, it's for people looking to get on a ride, and
Yeah.
that's like it. But like whenever somebody comes to your blockchain website, is it an investor? Is it a small time holder? Is it a developer? Is it somebody who just wants to use your thing?
Yeah.
And so I feel like blockchain, like you try and have branding for everyone,
Mhm.
and it like never works.
Branding for no one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it makes sense that like a lot of the things that are being developed right now are more oriented towards like increasing the first layer, like the tech layer, and kind of a lot of products that are like being born almost or are like very tech oriented. So it makes sense that it has that style as well. It could be a question like, is this whole like universe already in this in a state that it can go towards like this very user oriented style? I guess that's maybe the bigger question. But
Yeah.
I do think that is necessary to get, like, of course, mass adoption things and that kind of stuff going. It should just be like, once we get to that stage, I guess blockchain should be under the hood, like, in my opinion. Like, now, like, blockchain carries a lot of the branding, because of course, like, if your product is it's very specific to blockchain, then it's probably interesting that you mentioned that in your branding. But once you get past that, it can just go under the hood. Like, it's like, if you would call every web app like app this and this, or like even computer so and so, and that's kind of like, you see, like, it should just like go under the hood. And like, if you look into it, that it runs on blockchain, that's cool. But it shouldn't be this in your face. If it's just very user oriented, and let's say you make an Uber clone on ETH, and people would just like use it with credits or whatever, they wouldn't even matter that it wouldn't even matter to them that it's blockchain. Only to people who like really look into it and have like the blockchain mindset, let's say. But like, to an
Sure.
average user, you would just use coins. And once you reach that level, I guess you can use whatever branding, and then you have like free play almost. So
So the
looking
focus
forward.
is in the product, right?
Uh,
Once
sorry?
the focus is in the product, then
Yeah.
it's like, okay.
Exactly. Yeah, indeed. Yeah. That's
Well, I mean, yeah, like I always joke because like we had previous Teller websites and we had previous company websites that we did, and like back whenever you're designing it, and whenever you're like we were in like finance labs or even before, and you're pitching investors, you like
Mm.
literally design your entire website for like the VC who might click on this,
Yeah.
because you're raising money. Like your whole logo, it's like, how would that look on a VC portfolio website?
That's the
Yeah.
user at that point.
And that was the user, and that's who you're like targeting. And you can still see like a lot of blockchain, like you go to their websites and it looks like you're raising money almost.
Yeah.
And it's like you're not trying to get users, you're trying to raise money.
But that's, I guess, that a lot could be done with tone of voice on that front. Like, if you're just strictly talking like a logo and branding, which are basically just colors, man, the, there's this general rule that it should just like stick on your retina and just leave a certain impression. And whether, if you're an investor or a user, if it's just there and if it's in the back of your mind, then the branding worked. And in tone of voice, of course, you're gonna very like aim towards a specific audience, and then it gets kind of tricky if you want to do like reach them all, indeed. But like, I guess if you're strictly talking branding, you could like overcome that, or aim at a higher level than the specific audience that you're targeting at that point.
Yeah.
More or less, it's not that black and white, but yeah, something in that direction.
Cool. No, I mean, I think we could talk branding on it forever.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
we'll maybe we can have like monthly branding calls once we start doing products or things like that. Like where we sometimes we'll have more tech focused calls. Maybe we can have more branding of Teller focused calls where we really talk about
Oh, I'd love that.
where the Teller, yeah, like just for the whole community to talk. I think that would be like interesting for people.
It would be good because once we moved past the investor phase, which was for a few months, we changed our voice to be more developer focused.
Mhm.
And we basically rewrote the website to be like, well, what would we want to see on one of these websites? What information do we need and don't need? And so we changed gears to be a developer focused messaging and branding. But still, that was basically us. This is a good thing because you can just rely on your own experience and your own sensibilities to really sort of help you decide on what to say, not to say. But that's inherently limited. We have devs on our team, but is that the way all devs think? And so the more we can expand that conversation out, we could maybe get some other input and other feedback that maybe certain other
Definitely.
devs feel differently. So
I think that the fact that you guys have like a strong connection with your community is a very good thing in that perspective, because then you can like get a very direct feedback on maybe design, like directions or whatever, or even wording, and I don't know what. I think like as long as you get the feedback from the people who are actually using it, that's like way more work than what you guys think of, or what we guys think internally, or whatever, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, well, we did a developer survey
Oh, cool.
like a month and a half ago, and it was super cool, the results, but it's like everybody just disagrees on where what Tellor should do. It was like some people think we should double down on this, some people think we should just scratch it and do something completely new, and other people think we should focus more on marketing. And it was just like, everyone had their opinion, and it was all over the place. For like, all
It's a
right,
common problem in movies because a lot of movies, what they'll do is once the movie's near finished and it hasn't been released, they sort of do a small release and they sort of invite people to come and watch the film and give surveys on how did you feel about this character and that character or the ending or whatever. And then they get all that information and then they go back and they re-edit it. Sometimes they'll like recast somebody because no one liked that actor, and so they'll like refilm things. And so there's been so many different examples in history of where a movie has gone through this sort of survey hell and it's been redone, and you end up ultimately with this sort of bland, trying to please everybody movie.
They have a term for that. That's like designed by committee, right?
By committee.
Yeah, that's the worst. You don't want that. That's indeed
Yeah.
that's something you want to avoid. But I guess there's a certain type of confidence you have to have in asking people for their opinions and then how you respond to that, I guess, right? Like if you follow it blindly, then you get a design by committee. But if you like, it could be just seen as a test for your decisions. Like if they bring something up that you can like double check, like why did we make that decision? If you still feel it's good, then I don't know.
Yeah.
It's kind of a subtle balance, I guess.
No, good point.
You have to determine what's negotiable and what's not when you ask for those surveys. Like, we're still gonna do this. This is the other things that are actually like we're, giving some control of. So.
Yeah. If you direct it a little bit, that the results probably will be better, I guess. Yeah. Then you just let them run wild. It's never gonna end well, I guess.
Or you're never gonna get like a full thing fleshed out because it's too much info.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
cool.
Awesome.
Well, thanks, Ben. Hopefully we'll have you on the calls every week.
Sure.
And feel free. So now we usually just do questions, and feel free to chime in if you want, or don't if you don't want. But we'll have you post a message in the main Telegram chat right after, so people know if they want to reach out to you or ping you. Just we want you guys to feel like he's part of the team, so give him a good welcome.
Nice. Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah. Now, Mike.
We need to get you a graphic to tweet out because you were making all the other ones, but now you can make one for yourself. So
I'll make one. I'll find the perfect picture, and then I'll find the perfect image, and then I'll make one. Yeah.
Yours is going to be different and like way more snazzy than everybody else's. Like, who made this?
That's good.
But anyway, all right. So we have a few questions here. Let's jump right in. What do you guys think of all these new rebase tokens? It is a bit of a trend. I don't know. Me personally, I don't. I think it's a cool idea, but I do generally feel like there's just a lot of copycats. But that's been the same with, before it was rebase tokens, it was stable coins, and before that, it was something else. So,
I mean, same with automated market makers. Uniswap, Sushi Swap, Hot Dog Swap, whatever. You have one good idea, and then everyone will change one variable and launch it on their own. Most of the time, another rebase coin probably won't matter. You don't need one. It's not really innovating in any way, but sometimes they do. Sometimes they do sort of push, like you saw with. So you had Uniswap, and then Sushi Swap came and then provided like a lot of return to Uniswap investors, and then Uniswap started doing it more, and so it does, like, it changes things, and it changes. Competition's always sort of good. So in general, though, rebase tokens, there's usually nothing backing these rebase tokens, so in a lot of ways it's the same sort of problem as like a traditional, say, like meme coin, like a Tellor or a Bitcoin or an Ethereum even, where it's all just based upon your community's perception about getting actual usage. So most of these rebase coins, they try and stabilize around $1, and they're being used for, like the ample forth, it's going to, you have a sort of a stable price and you fluctuate the supply. What I hope that happens is that more of these rebase coins focus on actually getting used as a currency. That's what the whole point of it was, like, it's going to be more stable in terms of a price, so it would be better for a currency. Okay, well, let's see people actually start using it as a currency versus it's just these sort of money games that investors on Ethereum are playing. If all you're doing is trying to front run and game how many people are going to buy it before the next rebase, that's like, it's a fun little game that people can play, but there's nothing sort of revolutionary about that. So I don't know how you guys feel.
Yeah. There's so much of this circular thing that happens with a lot of DeFi, and I think we need to, the sooner we get away from that sort of feedback loop for speculators, the better. And getting back to using crypto, as an exchange of value and real world usage, the better. I mean, it's easy to forget that all this started because someone was trying to make a peer-to-peer cash system that sort of it never really formalized or materialized still. So next question, any thoughts on the 1-inch airdrop?
I think Alari has a bunch of thoughts on the 1-inch airdrop. So they've just that's all that the Discord spam has been is, have you guys heard about the 1-inch airdrop? Thanks for telling me, man. $1,400 in my pocket today. And that's like I've deleted like 10,000 of those messages.
I hope that the spammer is actually the person that submitted this question. That'd be next level spam.
Yeah. No, it's yeah, airdrops are so like I don't get the point of even the Uniswap. They passed it back to people who had been using Uniswap previously. But you actually get rid of a big reason for your token in the first place. So like if you say you're going to give people a token for doing something, you get people to do more of it. But if you just give it to people who didn't know they were going to get it, it's like you don't get that boosted incentive mechanism. And I know there's like a reason, like the reason you would pass it to current users is like you can get around securities laws, is a lot of regulatory issues are what people are claiming. But like to me, saying like we'll give you tokens if you do something is sort of stronger economically speaking, because then you actually generate more usage or whatever your desired properties were.
Next one is feels like Polkadot is kicking off a new wave of ICOs. Any thoughts?
No.
I mean, I guess all the new layer ones are going to be kicking off a new wave of apps being built on them.
Was it IDO? We heard there's like, wasn't ICOs, it was IDOs or the new one.
That's an initial DEX offering, isn't it?
Yeah, something. I don't know.
Yeah.
There was IEO. Now there's IDOs.
Yeah, it's hard to keep up. Can we expect a big event or top 20 market cap user in coming weeks?
Top 20? I'd say no on the top 20. I think we can. I mean, who's a top 20 market cap? It's like the only ones that are sort of built on Ethereum would be like Chainlink.
Yeah,
I don't think they'll use us.
that's true, actually.
Maybe like DeFi market cap, because I've had that might be a smaller list, but yeah, I mean, Bitcoin might use us. I don't know.
This is our non-answer, by the way.
Yes, we don't know. No, I mean we tell you things that as soon as we heard it. We've actually, so if you saw in the Discord, we created an integrations channel, and we're
Yes.
going to start pushing some people there, because a lot of the times what happens whenever we get in talks with projects. So this was like XDeFi. We've been talking to them for a little bit of time, and there's a lot of other projects just like them who they come and they talk to us. But they just they'll ping me personally and they'll say like, can I set up a channel with you and Brenda and Mike? And we'll be like, sure. And so we talk to all of these different projects and they all have great questions, and some of them we can answer, some of them we can help, some with, hey, you guys aren't going to be ready for 6 months, we'll sort of postpone it. But a lot of these channels, we want to start pushing them into this integrations channel on Discord. We want to make these live because we want you guys to know about them. We want you guys to help develop them. You know, if it's a good idea and it's something that maybe you know a project that might be able to help them. We want it to just be more of an open discussion. So I know we're all sort of waiting on users, but I think having you guys as part of this conversation to get users, to brainstorm with users, and that's something we're really going to be working on, almost open sourcing the business development piece, if you will, as much as we can. And I know even on Discord over the past like week, we've had several people who are like, hey, I'm looking to use Tellor. Can I use it for this? And a lot of times we say no, and a lot of times we're like, yeah, let's dig into it a little bit more. Let's, what would this exactly look like? When do you need it by? And that's what we want you guys to review.
Yeah, we there's very little reason in our minds to keep these conversations private or secret. Obviously, some aspects of the conversations might be private. The people that we're working with might want to, not be total public with every little tiny question they're asking us. And so obviously Telegram would be useful for that. But I think the vision that Nick is describing for being more transparent about it, I think has a ton of benefits. And we've always liked to keep you guys as inside of our minds and our process as possible. And this was one of the missing pieces of that puzzle. And so we're gonna see how that goes. It's not completely on us. It's also on the sensibilities of the users that are working with us, whether or not they're sort of game with that. But we'll see how it goes. So don't take everything that is going on in that Discord integrations channel as the only conversations that we're having too, because there's going to be a blend, and we're trying to transition to that model. We'll see how it goes.
Or as partnership announcements either.
What's that?
Or as partnership announcements either. It's just talking until there's an integration. So
Yeah, exactly. You guys could, make your own assumptions based off of the conversations that you can read. Another inflation question. When will the inflation be lower? Hodlers are slapped by the miners.
So inflation slowly lowers. So, as the inflation naturally will sort of go down over time. But we were actually just talking about this, and I think a big question is going to be sort of related to how sort of Tellor is utilized over the next few months, and also what kind of the Ethereum price looks like, and some other pieces. But no, we're open to it. We'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on lowering inflation. So if some people, we wouldn't want to sort of put it up to a vote and no one vote on it. So if you guys are open to a vote on lowering the inflation rate, it's a really, really simple voting process. So, anybody can sort of open that vote and kick it off.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, now that we've moved to, being fully decentralized with how we upgrade, this is your chance as a community, I mean, us included, of course, to make this more of a public discourse and make public decisions or group decisions and vote on them and propose them. And so if you have an idea, just start to flesh it out, and propose it, and or at least open the discussion up in the Discord. We hodlers demand staking, not mining, where miners have been trying to destroy our investments. Let us know your view and roadmap, please. I think this might have been the same questioner.
Yeah, so I think we'll probably have staking at some point. I think it definitely makes sense. You know, definitely with we had always sort of planned on like whenever ETH 2.0 launches, you'd want to move to staking because proof of work would sort of be too slow. ETH 2.0 is not here and it's 2021. Um, so you know, like we may have to move to proof of stake even on ETH 1. So which play it by ear. You know, it's always you always want to rush to these things, but it's usually best to think them through and make sure that we make good decisions that are just set up for the long run. You know, you can always usually like proof of stake. So if you save proof of stake, a lot of times projects like Synthetics did it, for instance, you move to a proof of stake system and then you get all this new buzz for your coin. So what you actually do is you increase inflation and move to a proof of stake system. So then you'll you know you're printing a whole bunch of money for new stakers. So then your coin blows up in value because everyone's going to buy it. Um, but it's not sustainable. It's one of those things where now you have really high inflation and a whole bunch of people locked up, and now you're sort of stuck with really high inflation, and you know you have to keep increasing staking requirements, or else once the flow goes the other way, your price tanks. So anyway,
Yeah, and on the roadmap, part of that, you know, obviously it sounds like it's on our roadmap because it is, but we don't think of these things in terms of, you know, when you think of roadmap, you think of, okay, it's going to be Q4 2021, Tellor moves to staking. So we're not going to indicate anything like that to you, but you know, we move pretty fastly when we know the time is right for something like that. So uh, that's because we're always sort of tinkering and building on these ideas in the background. Next question. I lost it. WTF XDEF. So XDEF, for you guys that aren't familiar with that as a project, it's another one of the rebase tokens. We we've been working with them for a little bit. And then we just sort of they announced that they are going to be using us, and then this morning it looks like they were exploited in some way, and I'm assuming that's what this question must be about. And so we're sort of just waiting to hear back. I mean, they've last tweeted that all their funds are Seifu, and they're redeploying the tokens. I mean,
I think there's a few things. So you know, like we've been working with them, and we usually don't like to say projects because for the reason that projects might run away and do a rug pull. So we don't want you to feel like we're endorsing them. And you know, we obviously do your own research on all of these things. Like, don't even if they do use Tellor, that doesn't mean they're necessarily a good project. But that said, on these guys, you know, they did a pull request into our miner this morning. We've been talking with their devs, and we'll continue to like let you guys know of anything that we find out that isn't public for you guys.
yep. We're usually very, very careful, and we're very careful with them in terms of what will indicate that we're working with people, because there is, you know, if
We don't want you guys to get, yeah.
we know that if you guys think that we trust them enough to tweet that we're a partner with them, that gives them some credibility, at least in our eyes, and so you might make a decision based off of that. So we know that could be the case, and so we don't ever want that to happen, or we never want something bad to happen in that regard. So, but with these guys, you know, we made a, you know, they sort of passed our test in terms of they're willing to actually do real work. That's like the biggest. So many projects, you know, you get into a conversation with them and it's just like, how do we market this? How do we market this? You know, when's the announcement? Or like, let's put together some graphics, some sort of package.
Yeah.
And it's just like, whoa, 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 whoa! Like, can we see like some code? Like, are you guys even a real thing? Do you have a white paper yet? And so, those are the type of partnership announcements. We could have had 6 of those in 2020, but you know, we're just not gonna do them. Okay. Last question: how does the ETH price increase? How does the ETH price increase affect Tellor?
Yeah, I mean, I can take it. I think it's both good and bad. As with, I'm sure you guys have seen gas prices, and that's really the main concern. You know, with I think gas prices were like this morning when I checked, it was like 200 GWh gas prices. So that's a normally pretty high amount. So like, you know, over DeFi summer, like that would have been a nice high amount. But now the price is 5x what it was during DeFi summer. So it's like literally, you know, this would have been like 1,000 GWay prices over the summer, which would have just been that would have been the peak of peak days, the Uniswap airdrop days. And now it's just constantly. So it's really bad. I mean, as far as because we've said this before about reasons to sort of get off of Ethereum. It's if there's no way for people to experiment and make new projects, it's going to be hard for anyone to sort of survive because Ethereum, you know, to think that any of the currently launched products, whether it's Uniswap or synthetics or even Maker, whether those are the ones that are going to win, and as long as they can function on Ethereum, then we're all fine. That's not very good. You know, we want a system where everybody can use Tellor, everybody can sort of come on and experiment, and whenever you have to pay $200 to deploy a contract, that's probably not going to be the case. So I think there's a lot of ways that we can sort of work with this. So there's a few things we're doing sort of help offset this. We've made the v2.5 change, make sure that the Tellor system still churns out some values, even albeit a little bit slower. But there's other things that we can sort of do and make sure, you know, we did launch Matic earlier in the year, and we're working on some other chains and some other options for people. So that way, as people sort of move to say some of these layer 2 solutions or even other layer 1s, we'll be there. And we're in talks with a lot of people for doing so.
Yeah. The good
So-
news is that even though these things have like and I don't even want to say negative impact, but they have an impact to where we're forced to start rethinking things or at least exploring other options just in case things get worse or if they stay like this for a long time. That's a good effect. It's like a catalyst effect on us, and I think we're proud of the fact that we're able to stay nimble and keep building, and we've built, you know, I think we're well positioned for 2021 now that we have this team to actually turn all this you know, this chaos. We can create new things, and so it can be exciting. All these changes and issues can be exciting at the same time. So we look forward to all the challenges that all this stuff presents itself with, and yeah, we sort of geek out and have fun with, you know, brainstorming ways to and solutions to all this stuff. So
Awesome.
no fear.
Well, Ben already left. We were boring him apparently.
It's a little late where he lives, so.
Sure. No, he lives in Belgium, isn't it? It's like what, like 7:45 at night. It's not
Yeah, I think it's
I
like,
can say,
I think he's 6 hours.
okay, yeah.
6 hours. So yeah, it's like 6:45 at night.
Not
Like,
that late.
Oh, his girlfriend came home and just pulled the plug out of the computer.
Like, you're done. But
anyway, thanks everyone for joining. We will talk to you guys all next week.
See ya.